Hello everyone, it's Paula and I'm back. I have missed you guys so much. I have not been doing journals or anything. It's just been recovery. Now, I say that, but then this last week when I could finally get into my craft room, which is upstairs, it's not very easy to do that. I did do a journal style that I've wanted to try, and we're going to make one of these from start to finish. So the first thing we're going to do is journaling, but I'm going to tell you real quick how I'm doing, what has transpired, and then hopefully I don't have to mention it again. If you have questions, you can just leave them in the comments section. First of all, if you have never been to my channel and you're not a subscriber, please do. And if you enjoy today's video, please give me a thumbs up. And that's the business. I had surgery almost 9 weeks ago on my foot, my right foot. And it was a big surgery, okay? I had arthritis in my foot, which is in my whole body. And I had a hammer toes. I had hammer toes and a bunion. And they're ugly and they're painful in shoes. And out of the blue, I started having trouble walking with my right foot. And I knew it wasn't my hammer toes. Because my foot itself hurt and my ankle. So I found a podiatrist. I live in Missouri, but we found one that was supposed to be very good in Harrison, Arkansas. And he is. He's very good. Anyway, so we drive every appointment to Harrison. So up until 6 days ago, I was in a wheelchair, and then I take that back. Okay, so I was in a wheelchair until week 7, and then starting week 8, he told me I could walk with my boot. So for 1 week, I still had to wear the boot, the heavy, ugly boot, and hot. So I did. I followed all the rules, and now this last appointment, which was 6 days ago, he told me I could finally be out of the boot. He says I've healed beautifully inside. I've had some wound healing problems, which has drug out my wheelchair. I'm about 2 weeks behind as far as how things have progressed. Well, walking without they gave me a compression stocking for my foot also, which is like putting on, I don't even know how to describe it. It's so hard. But anyway, so I've been wearing that and putting certain kinds of creams on my foot. And I will have to tell you that my foot looks amazing. Okay, still having swelling. So when I try to put a shoe on, which I cannot fit into any of my shoes, so my ankle is hurting when I walk, and so I called the nurse today, or his assistant today, and they said, you know, put your boot back on, don't walk barefooted, you know, blah, 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 which I knew. And because the boot doesn't make my ankle hurt, but there's something that is. So they're going to see me tomorrow for a laser treatment, which is scheduled. And then they'll let me see the doctor to get put into a brace of some sort that goes inside your shoe. So that's where I'm at right now. But I will tell you, I'm so sick of this whole process. Don't do it unless you're in a lot of pain. It's a huge recovery. It limits you to what you can do, and it's now that I'm past it, it was worth it. but I will wait a couple years before I do the other one, which is pretty much as bad as the first one. So no more of that. We're moving ahead. Now, to start with, I probably will only start with a couple videos a week, or maybe 3. It's probably going to be 2, but I'm going to do my best. If I'm in pain or something like that during a day, then of course I won't be on. All right, so tell all your friends I'm back, and spread the news. It's not a big deal, trust me, but I do want to show you this book. You know, over time, I have seen different ones work on this book, this type of book. The one person I think of is Amity Bloom. She does way better than this, but she's very, she doesn't do them very often. She'll do like a group, maybe once or twice a year, a group of them, and usually it's like 4. And I've never seen one for sale because, you know, they go so quickly. But hers are a little more shaggy looking. And I also went to Took's Craft Corner, and she has done one of them, or a few of them also. And I kind of just looked at hers and kind of got the process, because Amity Bloom does not show the process. She has a class. And I pretty much, from seeing her channel for so long, know how she does it. And I just thought, I'm going to try it on my own before I take a course. And of course, like every book I make, it's chunky. This one is not for sale yet. I'm going to use it as a model as we go along, because nothing's going to move very fast. I'll have to do some things off camera after we discuss them and I show you, or vice versa. Okay? All right, let's get started. This book started out, the book cover was white. I wanted it to be white or a cream color. And then it has like a flip out here on the front. And then it has some of Tim Holtz die cuts here on the side. And we'll do all of the same thing. This book is primarily pink and yellow. And I wanted it to be white. And then I changed my mind and decided to use vintage photo, which I think should have been a lighter. I would have probably recommended antique linen, which is what we're going to do on the book that we're going to do together. So, first thing we're going to do is talk about the cover. But I'm going to show you real quick this front part. This will make you excited. So, you do need some embossing powder, paper. And I just did polka dots here, but I used like a pink and a cream color. You need some modeling paste. I just stuck this little label on. It's like a chipboard, just because this was going to be my demo book, so I could make all my mistakes in this book. So I used a piece of wallpaper and measured the chipboard right here, because this is made out of chipboard. And I put antique music sheet underneath part of it here, but the other part is wallpaper, vintage wallpaper. Now I just have 2 pieces of vintage wallpaper that was appropriate for this book. And so on the back of this chipboard, I added this lace, and I wanted it to hang over a little bit. And that's why these little flowers were put here. The backing is a vintage music sheet as well. So I'm going to flip it open. Oops. And I made a tuck here on the back of it. I added music sheet. I added this embossing, all the different layers of lace. Here in the middle of this next sheet which will flip out soon, is muslin belly band with some lace, and it covered a music sheet. And I added, you know, this behind it, this embossed paper. And here I added a band of the ribbon or the lace or the trim, whatever we use as far as that goes. I used it as a pocket. Now, every one of these you would want to stitch around, okay? So I put the, I just put a little bit of glue in the middle, and then I stick it down. And then on this one, I did the vellum. It's the first time I've done this type of vellum work, so I know it'll be better the next time. You do your vellum, you cut it to size, you do it separate from your other work so that you don't mess it up anywhere, okay? So you flip it out, and then you're going to use muslin to attach each piece of this, like a spine area. I got them all done and then went back and did the muslin. And I don't care that it looked, because it is a junk journal and it just gives it character. So I just put a couple things here. Here's one of my old doilies made into a digital. And then here is Tracy Fox and Medieval Mirage. I've used a little bit of their stuff. I didn't go crazy decorating this because I would rather you enjoy that. Here at the bottom, I added this strip of lace dangling off about 1 1/8 or 1/4. Okay, and so it closes like this, and then that's the front. So you want to hold it, and when you flip it open, to open it, you're going to have another little surprise book. Now mine I did like pages but I used something heavy behind them. And I think if I did this again, it would be like another journal. I don't know, it may be identical. I stitched some paper on my sewing machine like a ruffle. I added a little piece here. This is just one of Tracy Fox's cards behind the linen. I cut a hole into the little scrap of wallpaper, added some Tim Holtz here, wildflowers, and some embossed paper. Flip it out, and I just put a collage sheet of papers here. And then this is vintage trim. It's very old. It replaces the little pink flowers that I showed you a second ago. It replaced it over time. So you can't get these little vintage ones now. And I just added a printable lady, and this is tea stain paper behind that I made the pocket out of, and Tracy's floral and some written paper, and it just keeps flipping over. And then here I just added like a little file card, then a little envelope, and there's a little card down inside the little envelope. But I'll show you all of this later. I'm not going to dig through things right now. I didn't do a lot, but I will show you it later. Then it flips again, and then the last one flips the other way, and you get this 3-piece layout. This is your bottom page right there, and that's where that embossed paper went. Music sheet, and, you know, just different stuff on the background that goes with what you're doing, okay? And this closes like that, and then all these close down. Now, right here is a pocket, a side tuck. So I decided to do that after I made this. And I thought, I can't glue the whole thing down. What was I thinking? But I like it like this. I pulled out some white Velcro, and it goes right here. Now, the right way to do this, you would have a wider book if you did this hardcover, okay? Here is an envelope, which is very pretty. And this is some collaged paper that I stitched around and just made a tuck. Okay, I'm showing you these things because these are the things that we're going to work on. And then you just look at the side and make sure you got your little book straight. Press it down and it's back with the vellum. Not the vellum, but the Velcro. And I told you I did pink and yellow. Pretty much that's what I did. And just so you know, the inside and the cover of the book is covered in music sheet. I'm sure you can see that right here and back there. Okay, and I just used my tear tool to put that onto the white book. And then I kind of inked around the edges. Now, I am going to ink much lighter this time. Now, the spine is made out of this lace and muslin. So I stitched the lace onto the muslin. I made 2 signatures in this book, and I tried to match that as best I could. Okay, and then I did do some pink, white, and yellow kind of pearls for some small dangles. Now, we're here at the front. But today we're going to go over how to put that part together. And I'm going to show you, oh no, I've got stuff back here. I'm going to show you this too because this will come into play. This is just like a fold out piece of cardstock covered in music sheet on the spine. And this is just some collaging paper I had that looked good. And then you open it, and I have a pocket here, and I have a pocket here on this side. On this side, it has another pretty envelope, and I haven't filled it yet. I need to do that. I haven't completely finished this. I was anxious to show you guys. And then here, I did some pockets, and I did some tags at my dining room table. I had my husband bring down what I needed was old book pages, my glue stick, my fiber tack, my glitter glue, and my napkins, and a bunch of old book pages of dictionary and different things, and different kinds of fonts, you know. So I just cut out a bunch of tags and collaged everything on the tags first. And then I came back and did the decoupaging. And you can still come back and then I stitched. You can still come back and add more embellishments if you want. And I haven't added anything in the topper yet. And I added this little pink bow. I had 2 little pink bows. And I just thought this was the kind of book to put it in. And I've been wanting to use them. I added one of the little flowers right there. But you can see that this back is covered in music sheet as well. So there's 2 signatures. We're not going to go through the signatures right now. But I want you to see that much of the book. Now, the first thing I want to do is show you a mistake that I made. So I cut out another book. Okay, I gutted it and got it all nice and clean. And it's a little bit narrow compared to that one, but it's also a little taller. So it's like a 5 by 8 1/4 book. And so, yeah. And the spine's going to be 2 1/2. So we're going to do 2 big signatures like I did in that one. The one thing I didn't like after I finished most of this book is I didn't cover the book where it was cut as well as I would have liked. I mean, I have now pretty much, but it's not like I wished I had done now. So I practiced on one side, and I thought we could do the other side. So this is the front. No, this is the back. Let me look. It's hard to tell. Okay, this is the front. Yes. No. Oh my. This is the front. No. It's this one. Why is it not coming out like... Oh, it's because I have it covered. Okay. So this is the front. And I use my tear tool. And I'm trying to... I covered up the big bright orange paper underneath here. And I just made sure it covered everything before I glued it down. Underneath this, I added a piece on this other side. Not the side that you're going to use as the front or back, but the inside cover on the front and the back. You're going to take your music sheet and make it a little bit longer. And then you're going to cover everything else like this, and then that music sheet folds around so it looks like a book cover here instead of like a raw edge of a book. I hope that makes sense to you. Yeah, so that's why it's done like that. Because that part is going to be to the left, and this is going to be the front. So the part I covered is to the left. Because if you don't do it that way, then it's going to look like raw edges. Okay? And I didn't want it to. So I went ahead and sewed this on my machine. I got a piece of muslin big enough. It's probably like 3.5 inches. And then I stitched some trim. This kind of a crocheted trim. And it's going to be our spine. Just like this, only it's going to be... I'm trying to keep this book cream and white. And the colors are pink, blue, and yellow. A lot of people just like to do it one color and call it an art journal. But I'm not. I'm gonna add some color, and I'll decorate a little bit. But pretty much that's going to be the job of the person who owns it. Because that's part of the fun. And the ideal of this type of book is to layer. You can layer and layer. Now this one isn't layered and layered, but you go onto a page and you just keep building however you want. And that's the thing you want to know. You could look at Took's Craft Corner, and it's quite a while ago, but she did a book like this. You have to go pretty far to find it. I didn't write it down. I'm sorry. Okay, so it's yellow, not orange. Kind of both. So this is how it looked before I covered it. Okay, I'll set that right there for now. I want to tell you that the mistake I made was I covered the, where's the inside? I'm trying to keep from being totally confused. Okay, I put the back one on first, and I rolled it around, kept about a 1/2 inch, and glued it, and then I glued this one on top of the front. And this time we'll do the same thing, and we'll want to put the other one on top of the front. Okay, so I'm going to do 2.5 inches. No, 2 1/4. Trying to remember. No, 1.5. Losing my mind. 1.5. That makes way more sense. So the first thing we're going to do is tear with our tear tool to fit around the book. Now, I will tell you this. This is wrong because I should have, let me tell you this first. I should have put this on before I put the inside sheet of paper. You're going to put the roll around one, but you see, like, it needs the roll around paper from the front right here. And I'm going to show you. And that needs to be there. And you want to center it. You just want to cut it 1/8 to 1/4 inch bigger on the ends. I stitched it 3 times. And so I'm going to show you what this will look like when we flip it over. Okay. It should have looked like this. This is the inside cover. It should have looked like this. But I forgot to put my trim on first. And I didn't want to put it on initially, so I just stayed with that because I wanted this to be covered with the music sheet. And because I did it wrong, I'm going to pull this up and show you how I decide to fix it. Is it the most appropriate way? Probably not. And we've got some bulk with this. So we're going to cover this section too. And we want it to be 1.5 inches in the middle. So 3 of these. We're going to line it up right here on the edge so we can make sure it's straight. And the same over here. Okay. So we know now we have 1.5 inches here in the center. We're going to add the fabric first. And this is going to be the outside. No. This is the inside. Okay. Now we're going to add this upside down. Just like that. Okay. And this is going to be fine as far as being covered because it's, you know, the lace is going to show on the other side because it is wider than 3.5 inches. And you can feel underneath here and know that it is. So we're going to glue this. This is like 4 inches wide. 3.5 to 4 inches wide. So I'm going to put glue. And you want to put the glue as close to the edge as you can. Now, and then as far out as you can. You don't want to go too far because then you'll have it on your inside cover. This is how you do it, not the way I did it. This is how you do it. Now, this wouldn't be on here yet. This would be a blank canvas. Okay? This is, yeah. I hope I'm doing this right. I'm rusty, guys. I had to put my brain back in. Do you ever feel that way? Well, today I need to do something with this head of mine. Okay, so you've got that side on. And just so you know, I have that side backwards. It should be like this. And we're going to, this is when you glue it, when it doesn't have anything here. Okay, but I've glued it on this side and I want to see how it looks. And there's my covered inside, where on the other one it was all rough across here. Okay, and I'm wanting to make sure I got this on straight, which you could see it's not. So now's the time to pull it up a little and move it over and get it straight. Okay. This is a little bit over. I have been so lonely for my YouTube people. I'm like, My brain kept trying to talk me out of doing it anymore. And I said, no. Okay. I thought I hadn't heard from but a couple people, and I thought, well, maybe, you know, it might be better if I don't. But I decided to go ahead and do it because I know there's enough people that love it, and that's good enough for me. Okay. I can't do them every day anymore, but I can do them. So I'm going to line this up straight because I want to make sure that both sides are on the same height and everything. So right here. Now I've got to push it in until it's at 1.5, but on the same line. All right, perfect. Perfect. Okay, so we're going to put glue right here on this muslin and on the book. I think it's easier to do it on the book. We'll see where we're at on this one. Okay. I want you guys to tell me if you think the lighting is better or worse. Okay. Now, because this is such a wide trim, this one's going to go further back. And I do want them to be, I want it to be tight enough that your book's going to flop a little because of the type of book it is. But, and because the spine is different. This part's glued in. And that does make it different. You want this to be as tight as you can without it being too tight. And there we go. Now I'm going to have to go back and add some more. But first I want to see how center it is, or if it is center. Now, it is, something's not just perfect right there. Has a zigzag down this side. This is one of the reasons I hate doing start to finish with covers, is because sometimes they're not reliable. You know, you can't get it to look as good as you want. So I'm thinking that's a 3-inch. I'm going to leave it because it is 3 inches. Now here's my problem. I wrapped this side and I didn't wrap this side. And look, see the difference? So I guess you do have to wrap the inside first, but you could probably use a scrap. And so what I'm going to do because of that is I'm going to take this off and wrap it first. But you just saw how I put it on. And that's going to be the same way we put it on. I'm going to move this for a second. The same way we put it on for wrapping it around. Okay, so we're going to take this piece. It has some extra. Okay, and this was on this side, wasn't it? Okay, I need the extra to be on the other side. So we're going to tear. And what I do is I just lay the book cover out and I go right up to this more design type section. And I'm going to tear it. Okay. And then I'm going to tear this top off because, you know, we don't want that on there. We don't want any more space, blank space, than we have to have. Okay. Now we're going to measure, and I'm just going to take this book. The glue's on this side. I'll take this book and do like this. And that looks like it's pretty close. Okay. Now, we're going to tear it right here. Make sure it gets plenty of paper to fold over. just because some of you might be interested. We are still in Branson, Missouri. The tourist season is unbelievable compared to last summer because of the pandemic, but everything's open. You can't do anything without running into people. I mean, not running into them physically, but they're everywhere. We have to go back roads and everything, and we don't mind because we love seeing the families and so forth doing what they're doing. Okay, so we're going to go ahead and cover this piece with this. You want to make sure it covers all the yellow or orange or whatever. We still need to take just a little bit off right here. You don't want to take too much, because if you do, it will show the orange and you'll have to just tear it again. We're going to use antique linen, and it's not going to be over the top amount. And I'm not worrying about the inside one, because that's the one that's going to roll over to the other side. And I'm just hitting these little ziggy crooked lines. Just enough to, you know, give it a little bit of something. Okay. Now, so this is going to roll. And we're going to glue it right like this. Right like this. And I'm going to cover the whole thing. Come on, Mrs. Glue. You want to get around the edges really good, because your papers are kind of crooked. But I like the look it gives the book. And I love music sheets, so you'll see me use it a lot on some things, compared to some other things. And I'm just going back and forth, hitting the glue, and then getting it heavy where it's going to roll over. I'm holding this paper because I have glue on the book. And I got a new mat. And I got a big new mat. I didn't get one of the little square ones. I got one you can actually work off of and things don't fall everywhere. And also, when I use my camera, I can, let me make sure I've got this right. Okay, so we're going to cover up the yellow. No. Let's make sure. I may have tore it too short. I did. Look at that. Oh, that makes me crazy. Well, we're just going to tear another one because this one will not work. Okay, so now let's try this one more time. When I took that last piece of paper off is when it did that. So that was my mistake. Okay, let's try this one more time. Not get in such a hurry to get that part done. I want to get the book part done so we can move on to some of the more fun stuff. Okay. Well, it's this stuff down here. We'll come back to it. And will go like this. Okay. When it was too long, the first time I did it, on the last one, it was too long, and so I took a little bit off, and I guess I just took too much. So you can lay it like that. Let's make sure we're the right height. I'm cutting it over here, so hopefully it will be right this time. Keep your fingers crossed for me. Let's see. Okay. Dang it. Are you kidding me? We will not let this stop us. I guess I can't measure today. Do you ever just feel aggravated by something like that? I do. Okay, let me get some more paper. I brought in extra sheets for boo-boos, and now I have to bring in extra sheets for extra boo-boos. And yes, it aggravates me. You know, you get all ready for your video, and then you're like, do something stupid. Okay, so I'm gonna bring in a couple to start with. And hopefully that will be all we have to have. We'll see. All right. I know this book is 8 1/4. For some reason. Okay. It's 8 1/4 tall, so I got to make sure it's 8 1/4. And I've just been holding the book up there, trying to trust it. But that's not enough. I need to actually... We know that part will be okay. Okay, so I'm going to lay it out. I want you guys to be able to see. Okay. So let's lay it out and see. Here is 0. Right there. Better be right this time. I'm going to give it a little extra space. Now, let's lay this on here. And yeah, that's obviously that's too big, right? It's so crazy. Okay. Try this one more time. I know I eyeballed it just the right way. So, still big. Okay, so we want that to go down a little bit. I'm going to do the part that's kind of hanging off and see how accurate that is. Please be the right size. It's better, but it's still just a hair. And that's the hardest parts to get off. Let's see what happens. It's just a little tiny bit there. Oh my goodness. You can tell this is video 1 for a while. Perfect. Okay, let's try this again. Need to refill my bottle before the next video. Okay, I don't know how much time we have. I do want to teach you this cover because it's finicky and I forgot to ink it. So we'll ink it when I ink the book. How's that? Okay, what do you know? Now, I'm going to put something down underneath this part that's hanging over because I don't want the glue to get on my new mat. Not until it's an accident. Oh my. You just got to give me a few weeks with it being new and then I'll be okay. Okay, so I'm going to move this up so you can see. So I flipped it over, and this is the part that we're going to fold up. Going to fold towards you and hold it for a second. I'm going to get a drink while we're doing that. And then we're going to fold it toward us. Don't let it shift on you. We want the part that's attached down here to be flat on the book and not bubbled out with any kind of air. Do you know what I'm saying? Do you? Do you? I think you do. And so there you go. How perfect is that? And then you can see here, see how flat? That's what you want. And then this is on the front of the cover. Now, bringing this back in here, let's try to get it done right this time. This is where this part comes in, okay? No, it's not. Okay, it's this part. You have to do the inside first. So we're going to go ahead and we'll do this when we're done with the inside of this, because I want you guys to know how to do this portion. So line your bottom up nice and straight. Make sure there's 1.5 inches between your panels. And we're going to do it like this, because this rolls around and it's safe to do that. Okay. Okay, now we're going to have quite a bit over here that needs to be stuck to that. So I'm going to first start with adding it to the lace portion. Keep making sure it's on there. Now, we haven't moved this book, so there shouldn't be a problem. And I see that it's still at 1.5 inches. So let's just do it and get it over there. And remember, you want to pull it so that it's nice and taut. Don't let your book move on the right side. Yeah, the thing you have to do is make sure your ribbon, lace, muslin, whatever fabric is nice and tight. Now, we're not going to know that till we flip it over and look. Okay. And you can see there, I didn't put a lot of stuff there, so you got to go back in. You want to make sure that this part of the book, and where the lace is attached, you want to make sure that goes all the way up. And that's how I discovered on my other one that I should have covered those. But by the point that I was at, you know, it was kind of hard. Now, we should have this on here right now. Let's try it again. Looks pretty good. So this time, we've got it like this. So let's make sure it's stuck. Now, you're going to have to be gentle with it till it dries. Okay? And you may still have to go back through there and squirt some glue in there and add whatever might be needed. Okay? Now, we're going to tear the piece that goes on the front. And hopefully you have better luck this time. And then we'll be ready to move on. Let's see. And we just need a square this time. We don't need it to be, you know, I wish we could pull out one of the ones we've already done, but they're the wrong size. Now, I've got this close to me because I'm just pulling a little bit off, and you have to really hold it down. Okay. I should have turned my ruler the other way. I just think you get better results when you do that. Okay, let's turn this part here. You should know this part when we're done. There'll be a quiz on tearing. So, trying to think if there's anything else new. Let's see if I'm tearing this right. I know I am, but I'm going to measure 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Let's make sure. Want to make sure. Okay. Nothing easy. You think it's going to be so simple. But I don't usually cover in music sheet, and so this is kind of new for me. These pieces sticking out, I'm just going to kind of, I don't want it to tear them in, so I'm just going to kind of, and they will work into the space without any problem. So now we need it to be 5 inches across. Okay, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. This should be the last tear. Keep your fingers crossed. Let's bring the book back over. And this is going to cover the front. It never is the last tear. There's always something in there. Yeah. Just a little bit. It's what I've said every time, and it's been too much, so I'm going lower. Not taking a chance. Trying to anyway. Crazy thing. Come on. Be nice to me. Be nice to me. Just need a little off the side. We're okay at this point because we had that little extra paper toward the spine, see, that's folded over. And that makes a huge difference. I'm going to move this book somewhere. You should see my room. Let me see how much time we've got. We've got like 2 minutes. So basically what's going to happen is you ink it and you glue it down right here. And then this is how the outside looks. And this is how the inside looks. Now, this is the problem inside. I should have not put this paper down until I could put it over. But I wanted them both to be the same. So, I'm going to lie them down, and of course they're inked appropriately. Try to line the music sheet up. I can't remember which side it went with. You want to tear it off the side that you used on your, now just a minute ago, that's upside down. That's the problem. Nope, it goes on this side. Hopefully. Yeah. So it'll glue here, and then you'll have one here. And you're probably thinking, well, that's going to look crappy. It won't. It won't. If I don't like the way it looks, I'm just going to cover this top again, okay, over here. And I might do that anyway, because both of these didn't get stained. But when it's all said and done, it will look nice, and you guys will be glad we did it that way. Yeah. So it was fun to be back doing a video with you guys today. I really missed it, and I hope you'll all come back and spend time with me a couple times or 3 times a week. And it might get better and better as time goes by. But I wanted to start off with something different, something fun and unusual. So that's why I decided to do this book. So I'm going to tell you, I love you guys. I'm so glad to be back. I missed you terribly. See you in the next video.